Hey now, welcome. I asked if you guys wanted to have guests, and you said no. No guests.
No guests. I guess they like us.
Which is a good thing, I guess, because sometimes it's hard to get guests, but I don't know. I guess that's a blessing, man.
And also, we should let everybody know we're not gonna name names or anything or drop any hints, but we got some cool stuff in the works. Okay, we got some things, some ideas that are percolating.
Yeah.
There could potentially be a big fish or two over the next few months on the podcast. So keep your ears open, I guess. No pun intended. You guys may be noticing the posters behind me in my family room, and I'm renovating. I'm redecorating my family room.
Oh, I like it. I like the Halloween 3. It's my favorite.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be. It's gonna. We're like I was telling Christian before we came on air, guys. Well, on air. Who the hell am I? It's this. This will evolve over the next few weeks. The background. I'm gonna find the perfect, way to set this up. But right now, this is what we're rolling with today. The process just began. Christian, how's it going, man? How you doing?
Doing all right.
How's the weather in Louisiana? Yeah.
It's getting hot, dude. I mean, when I'm working at a plant too, it's like I was telling Sydney was texting me today. She's like, "Man, today's a rough day at my job." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Oh, it's like an oven here." And she's like, "They don't like climate control your plant." I was like, "It's just too big, and there's too many massive ports for trucks to come. You can't." And I work right next to a press that runs at like 300, actually no, like close to 400 degrees. So like I'm right by it all day long. So I'm just burning.
No, I feel you. I work
by
in a
ovens
kitchen
all day.
with an oven that's 500 degrees, and the hoods aren't the right size for the size oven I have. So you got 500 degree heat that pours out both ends. So my air conditioning, it works. You can't tell in the summer. It gets to 85, 86, 87 in that bitch in the kitchen. Right. And it's just, it's brutal, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's getting hot here too, man. 90 degrees today, 90 degrees yesterday. Went to a water park pool kind of area locally on Monday. That was fun. Yeah, man, weather. Yeah, we're sounding like old men now. We're getting to the point where we're opening the show, man. How's the weather doing? Like,
dude, I remember when I was a kid, my mom took us to this water park. It's got the weirdest name, but it was called like Schlitterbahn or something. Have you heard of that?
No.
Dude, it was like legit. But I remember probably a year after that on the news, they had some, like, it looked like roller coasters. You'd climb up these massive stairs, right? You'd go all the way up to get to the top of the water slides, and they were flips and all. I say flips, but like it was like a 2-minute, like once you started the ride, it was like 2 minutes before you finished it. And they had some high points with like open tops, like it wasn't like a tunnel. And I remember some kids would get overzealous and they would swing and stuff, and a kid came out of the slide 40, 50 feet in the air, and he died and fell. And
holy shit.
Yeah,
that's not good, man. That's not good.
You ever go to SeaWorld as a kid?
No, I didn't. My mom lives in Florida now, and she's like always trying to get me to go. Like, oh, come to. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I know there's a lot of people. They do some fucked up shit at SeaWorld. Like, let's call it like it is. Okay, there's some inhumane practices at SeaWorld, but it's gotten a lot better from where it was. I believe that documentary is called Blackfin.
Black. Yeah, I saw that.
That shit's messed up. And obviously, since they got outed like that, things have gotten a little bit better. Sure. But yeah, so it was always kind of a ticky-tacky situation for me because I'm like, these people over here kind of messed up. But I'm sure I'll eventually end up going. Seeing orcas would be cool.
Dude, I loved it. I went as a kid a couple of times, and it was kind of like in Jurassic World. They have like that. You remember in Jurassic World when the kid and his brother are sitting in like
the Mosasaurus,
and it jumped, dude. They did the thing with the killer whales and stuff. I mean, they're gorgeous animals, dude. They're beautiful. And what else did they have there? God damn, I can't remember all this. I just remember I loved going to SeaWorld. They had some water slide rides and they had like a wave
Yeah,
pool.
they have rides there. Yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
what the fuck they are, but they got rides there.
It was either an adjacent theme park at the SeaWorld or in SeaWorld. They had something called the Electric Eel and it was a roller coaster. It was probably in this adjacent theme park next to it. But dude, SeaWorld is my shit. Like I loved SeaWorld so much. Like that was a cool thing. But that documentary you're talking about, dude, it's kind of like, I mean, this is going to be kind of fucked up to talk about too, but it's kind of like the Catholic priests. There was this movie called oh my god. It's got the guy from Scream 2, the one that he's in Scream 3 too. Cotton Weary, that guy.
Yes.
He's in this movie. What is the name of this damn movie?
The actor is Liev Schreiber.
Liev Schreiber movie about priests. Dude, you got to see this movie. Spotlight. Okay, so check this out. There was this look, so the Catholic Church, I grew up Roman Catholic, and we had some questionable fathers. They call them fathers, priests, whatever you want to call them. We just did. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And I always thought some of these guys were real creepy. Well, there was this big thing like up in the Boston area and all this where there's a lot of Catholics and Italians, Catholics. They had these priests touching kids and shit. And when the police and shit would get involved, they would move the priest to different. In Louisiana, we have parishes. Everywhere else, you guys call it counties. We're the only fucking state that calls it parish. But they'd start moving this priest that got in trouble here, moving this priest to another county. And then they'd move him to another county when he touched another kid and got outed. And it was literally back. It was the same thing as the killer whales from
Oh, he
SeaWorld.
touched another kid. We got to move this fucker.
That's what they did. But the movie Spotlight, anybody listening that hasn't seen this, Liev Schreiber's, he's cool in it. That is an amazing movie. That it's all about that. And it's not like a scandalous. I say scandalous. It goes into what's going on, but it's not a movie that shows the acts of it. It's about this news team being like, "F this, we're breaking the story." But Lieb is like the editor, and he's like, "We're not putting anything out till we get all the." It's a good movie. It's a really, really good movie. But he was great in it.
No, I think he's a good actor. So, and anytime you expose the corruption of some of the Catholic Church principles is definitely something. And to anybody that's Catholic, that is not to offend you. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with your religion. I'm saying there is definitely something wrong with some of the hierarchy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just some of dude, some of those guys are creeps, man. They're everywhere. Yeah. You got to watch out. You can't trust anybody nowadays, dude. Don't leave your kids with nobody. I don't care who it is.
I don't plan on it.
You know?
Yeah. Christian, we were talking. Christian and I, every now and then we'll send a text or two to each other. Sometimes 40 in a row. And we were talking. Christian's like, man, I feel like we've been saying this for a few weeks now, and Christian really has been. That Halloween 5 episode, how we just kind of really went off the rails and really just kind of feel like we kind of dug our heels in a little bit about certain topics, and we were very like not give a fucky about some stuff. We seem to get good reception to that. Christian said something to me today, and he says, "Yeah, man, I think we're at the point where we're like, we just don't give a shit anymore." And like,
you just gotta be, somebody told me today, I'm sorry who it was. I apologize. But the person that messaged me this today on Instagram, they're like, I just want you guys, tell you guys that the Halloween 5 episode was my favorite because like, there's no bullshit. You guys are just talking. It's like, this is how you guys would talk if you weren't recording anything. Like, this is just, and it's true. I mean,
guys, it's crazy. Go back to the earlier episodes of the podcast, and we were a lot more political about it in the sense of like there was more structure, there was far less cussing, there was a lot more of like we want to be engaging as possible to everyone, and then it got to a point where it's like, why should we like turn off our personalities when most of you guys are subscribed to both of us and like both of us at least somewhat. So you want our personalities to come through. So it's just kind of like, if you don't like us, you're probably not listening to the podcast anyway. And if you've made it 10 minutes into this podcast already, you're probably like, you guys are pretty fucking okay. So yeah, we're just going to do our thing, man. We're we're basically saying no holes barred from here on out. So no one's safe.
The interesting thing is I feel like the podcast is where like I get all my swearing out too. I don't swear that often throughout my daily conversations. But when I get on here, I feel compelled to just get it out.
Not just that. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like in my videos, I don't really cuss, but like in the podcast, I'm just like, yeah, dude, I feel like it's a different medium. It's just different. This is like an open discussion. I mean, when you have an open discussion with like-minded people and you're talking about R-rated material, the conversations are going to be just as R-rated. Like you've got to understand that. I mean, if I turn on a podcast about sleepaway camp, it's probably not going to be the most PG thing I've ever heard, because I'm sorry, there's a lot of murder and there's a butt naked person at the end. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what you're getting yourself into. Like, so you don't go see the movie X thinking you're getting anything other than what the fucking title tells you. So the Uneeda horror podcast, you need a horror podcast. Well, horror ain't the safe space for we're not talking about Bambi and shit here. So
you haven't found X yet, huh? The Blu-ray?
No. Oh my God. So I went to Target, Walmart, Best Buy, FYE. I hit like 4 or 5 places that day. I didn't even see a spot where it would have been like in all their new releases. I'm asking them, no, I don't think we got that movie. I'm like, what the what? So I'm ordering it online.
That's insane, dude, because like my Walmart had it, which is just nuts.
My Walmart had some shit for their new releases that I'm like, the fuck movie is this? Like, I've never even heard of this. And you're like putting this in the, like, hey, this is a big deal. What? No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I got to order it online, but honestly, I'm probably going to save a few bucks ordering it online, to be honest with you. So, and in today's world, saving a few dollars here and there goes a long way. So I'm not really overly concerned about that. I just really want to watch it again, man. I dug the shit out of that movie. I really want to watch it again. Yeah. Brittany Snow. What a beautiful, fantastic woman.
I was just looking at, I got a comment on I did a video the other day just talking about the Child's Play 4Ks, which we'll talk about. And somebody just commented, Child's Play 3 is literally the worst of the first 4 films, LOL. You know what? I don't like the wording of worst, but I think I like Bride a little bit more than 3.
I do too, but 3's better than Cult of Chucky, Seed of Chucky.
I mean, honestly, give me the top 4, give me the first 4 and Curse, and I'm good. Like, those are the ones I really like.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. Curse is awesome. I love Curse.
Good, dude.
I love Curse. And man, that movie should have gone to theaters. But Don Mancini had shit the bed with Seed of Chucky. So they're like, we ain't giving you a theatrical with this one, buddy.
Dude, the gay community, the LGBTQ, like, they love that movie.
Yes, and rightfully so. There's a lot of very pro, like, LGBTQ, obviously, content in it. Glinda, like it is. The ideas, a lot of the ideas in Seed of Chucky aren't bad. They're very just executed bad.
It's just the movie. It's not even. It's like an anti-movie. There's no plot. They're like, I don't know what the hell's going on. But dude, that's Don Mancini. That's his coming out movie in a way. Yeah. And that's cool. I think, you know what, dude? Like, more power to that. I think that's cool. But it's just like not a movie to me. Like, what the fuck is it about?
He wanted to throw everything at the wall and see what stuck. So a lot of it didn't stick, but luckily he course corrected, and the franchise is I'd say in good footing now. Yeah. But Christian, what do you want to tackle first, man? These 4Ks or Vecna?
Well, we could do the 4Ks, but really quick. So I'm just going to show some books I've been reading. So about a week or so ago, I did videos on. What happened was I was reading my complete history of Return of the Living Dead book, and I've read most of it. Like, I've gone through parts 1, I've gone through parts 2, but I never tackled. Well, I read part 3, but like I never tackled the the Forsaken Return of the Living Dead movies, Necropolis and Rave to the Grave, which were straight to sci-fi in 2005. And I started reading about these movies, and it was well, what triggered it was after I did Children of the Living Dead, people were like, do the Return of the Living Dead ones. I was like, okay, that's cool too, I'll try. But when I was reading about those movies, I was floored by the story of what happened. Like that did not start out becoming Necropolis did not start out becoming a TV movie. Like, they got a good writer. There was interest from all over, millions and millions of dollars. Shit hit the fan, things went south, and it turned into this company buying the rights to do the movie. We're going to give you no money, and you guys got to make 2 films. So it was a shit show, and I had such a blast doing those videos, and it was so fun diving into that. But it got me wanting to read more of horror stuff. And so I just finished this book right here, which I'll show for the audience. It's called John Russo's Night of the Living Dead 1990 Illustrated History. And it's all about the making of Night of the Living Dead 90. So John Russo, for those that may not know, but if you watch Children of the Living Dead, that video I did, then you kind of know. He wrote the novel Night of the Living Dead, and he also wrote the screenplay with George Romero for the movie Night of the Living Dead. Well, they made no money because they changed the name of the movie from Night of the Flesh Eaters, I believe, to Night of the Living Dead right before the movie was about to come out. But they didn't copyright the title name. So they didn't see any money from the cinemas because there was no way to, keep track of this or that. And there's no copyright. It was a shit show. So those guys never made any money. As crazy as that is to believe, they never made any money from Night of the Living Dead. So in the 80s, when the remakes were coming out, and all of a sudden we saw not really The Thing, because let's be honest, it fucking tanked. Nobody saw it. But when The Fly came out, I mean, that was a big fucking deal. It was like, oh my God, this is what we can do with remakes in the 80s, that kind of shit. And that got John Russo saying, I got to get with George, and I got to get with Russ Streiner, who was also the producer of the original Night of the Living Dead. We've got to do a remake. Well, they tried to get some money for it, but nobody wanted to give any money unless they had a script. Long story short, Romero was kind of a slick guy, but I just chalk it up to Romero just knows that he's an Italian guy, number one, and it's the way of the movie business. Romero just kind of made a script, which was pretty much the same exact movie, which was kind of shitty because of, Russo wrote the book and everything and didn't really change anything. But Russo didn't get any credit for the screenplay on the title card. And, George used his production company to use it. And, but the cool thing is Russo's not bitter about any of it. He just understood, like, the movie business is, you gotta be a certain way in the movie business, blah, blah, blah. But the long story short, though, some of the interesting thing was Savini didn't know what the fuck he was doing. The movie's great. We love it. But, like, after the first day of shooting, and I'll stop here because I don't want to spoil too much, because if you're interested, I want you to buy the book because it's fascinating. But Savini, after day 1 of shooting, and when Romero, Russo, and Streiner looked at the dailies, they had to pull him aside and say, this is terrible. You have got to step it up. Because Savini didn't understand how to shoot with any kind of, like, everything he shot just looked dull. Nothing was framed well. It was a shit show, basically, and they really had to kick Savini in the ass. He rose to the occasion, and there's a lot more. So this is a lovely book with images I had never seen before. And now, after finishing this, Tom Savini has a book called Night of the Living Dead 1990, the version you've never saw. And I don't know if you knew this, Nick. They cut the MPAA butt raped Night of the Living Dead 1990. They took everything out of it.
Yeah, and I had heard that before, and it really doesn't surprise me because the late 80s, early 90s is it's a minefield. It's a minefield of movies that were absolute. Dude, look at 89 alone. We talked about this a couple episodes ago. Halloween 5, Jason Takes Manhattan, and Dream Child, just all neutered to shit. I mean, the MPAA, that was at the time when they were really worried that, oh my God, these movies are going to infect teenagers and they're going to want to kill people. So, yeah.
It's just terrible. If only New Line had, and those New Line was getting there, because New Line did put out Dream Child uncut, and then we saw that Jason Goes to Hell a few years later came out on video uncut. If only if only they were a little bit wiser to that a few years prior, Paramount and all those companies, it wouldn't have mattered because we would have got New Blood on, uncut, which everybody wants to see New Blood uncut. Everybody's would give their left nut to see an uncut version of New Blood.
And the funniest thing is too, it seems like nowadays every horror movie that gets a home release gets a director's cut. Every single one. Even if it was a PG-13 horror movie, I swear to God, every single one has an extended cut or a director's cut. Yeah, so it's like nowadays it's just commonplace.
Yeah,
but yeah, back then they just weren't up. They hadn't figured that out yet. So,
so guys,
speaking of releases,
go ahead. What you got?
Oh, were you still?
I got a few more.
Okay, yeah,
dude, I am a fucking reading machine right now.
No, yeah.
So listen, here it is, guys. If you want to get that, I highly fucking recommend John Russo's Night of the Living Dead 1990 Illustrated History. Right now, I am reading. This is amazing. This is Savini's biography. It's a coffee table book, all about how he got into makeup effects and stuff, and his stories and fascinating stuff. And if I could read you something hilarious that I found in here. Let me see. He's talking about in the beginning of the book, he's saying, like, I'm not going to pull any punches. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth about everything of my story. And some of the topics in my life will include are as follows. You're going to laugh at this certain one. The day I was kidnapped, the traveling horror show, how to deal with bullies, the night we saw a flying saucer, how Lon Chaney changed my life, what it's like being the godfather of gore, the internet date nightmare. So apparently, I haven't gotten to that part yet, but apparently Tom Savini got a Tinder date. My encounter with the paranormal, working with Quentin Tarantino, staring at Salma Hayek's ass for 3 days.
I would too.
Oh, here's the funniest one. On having the #1 makeup school in the world. Not that. How I met and worked with George Romero, becoming the sex machine and From Dusk Till Dawn. And Google says I'm a dick. And I don't know if you're familiar with that. But
yes.
So far, guys, I'm going to say this. What's beautiful is Amazon must have some kind of deal, Nick, because this came out when this was announced. I saw Savini showed off. It was a beautiful hardcover book. And it was like $60. And it's a beautiful, lovely. I mean, look at the size of it. It's a beautiful, lovely book. But I was like, maybe soon. And so when I went on Amazon, I saw that they had a paperback version for $30. And I was like, okay, that's me. They must have some kind of printing thing in like their warehouse somewhere, because this was made on May 27th and I got it 2 days ago. So it's like they made this book and shipped it to me within a day.
Wow.
They must have some kind of thing with that. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
So once I finish that, I'm going to be reading Chainsaw Confidential, which is Gunnar Hansen's point of. This is written by Gunnar Hansen. It's him on making the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I've had this for a while, but I didn't realize I had it for a long time. And Sydney was like, Christian, I noticed you're reading, your horror books right now, so get that going on. And then once I'm done with that, I will be reading Taking Shape.
Oh,
the making of the Halloween films.
Yes.
So here's the cool thing, Nick, and I'm going to tell you, this is going to be a future episode. So this is the, we all want to document, we all want our Crystal Lake memories for Halloween. Well, apparently this is that in a book form.
They just need to make it a fucking documentary.
Right. So, but I'm going to read this. And if
there's a second one too.
But just going to say, this is what I'm excited about. So I can't wait to read this and hopefully learn a lot of cool stuff about the making of everything. I even see chapter 8 is called Dangertainment. So I can't wait for that. And even the Rob Zombie films are in here. I can't wait for that. I'm especially excited for Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, because obviously you told me it's a shit show. So, I mean, there it is. There's Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 right there. But once I get done with this book, I'm then going to buy Taking Shape 2, all the Halloween sequels that never got made. And we have got to do an episode. Once I read it, I'm going to take bullet points. I'm going to put sticky notes.
Christian, that book is going to blow your mind with some of the scripts that they talk about.
I'm excited. Insane. But that's an episode waiting to happen. So like we can do an episode talking about all the movies that never got made, which ones I would have loved to have seen gotten made. So, but I'm excited to read this, man. I am not a reader, but like, dude, I can't put these fucking books. This Savini book, Sydney is making me like, Christian, let's go to bed. Savini's book is amazing so far. I love it. So I can't wait. I'm going to read this whole thing in a day. I guarantee you. Or maybe
Yeah.
2 days. That's pretty thick. But I can't wait to knock this out just so I could get to Taking Shape too. Because I was going to buy it. And I was like, no, don't fucking buy it, Christian. Because if you do, you're going to skip Taking Shape. Read it, then get the second one. So that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
and
Christian wants to know all the crazy fucking movies that didn't get made.
Dude, are you kidding me?
Pretty sure there's a Michael. There is a space one. There's a Michael versus Pinhead. There's the Quentin Tarantino Halloween 6. There's a lot. There's a lot. I think it was Tarantino.
I can't wait. I can't wait to read about all that shit, dude.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about the Pinhead versus Michael one, and I think
Mustafa shot it down. He said nope. Like they were gonna do it. Dimension was like, let's do. We're raring to go. Everybody was on board. I don't know how far along in the pre-production or just like idea stage it got, but obviously Mustafa at the time being the sole owner of that property, he said no. Like once we get to the point where we're putting Michael against someone, then Michael isn't as effective anymore. So no, we're not doing that shit. And for right or wrong, I mean, I'm even as a Halloween purist, like I feel like I would be okay with seeing a Michael versus something movie, but I don't know if Pinhead's the right one. That's just such an overmatched. How could you make me believe that could be a fair fight? Because it just couldn't be. So it's like, unless you were like, Michael is a Cenobite because he is pure evil, like I don't know, but that's one of them that I'm glad in hindsight that didn't get made. But yeah,
it seems like it would be a nightmare to do.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But Christian, some news broke days ago, some great news, and it trickled out slowly but surely. Dawn of the Discs released the first one, and then the second one, and then the third one. And if I remember correctly, Christian had made a tweet after the second one got announced, and he said, well, they better, announce the third one too. There's no way they're going to do the first two and not the third one. And then a little bit later in the day, Child's Play 3. We're getting 3 Scream Factory 4Ks of Child's Play 2, and Child's Play 3. Christian, what are your thoughts on that, man?
Dude, I'm over the moon, happy to get 2 and 3 on 4K, or just, I guess for lack of a better term, integrity releases, like they deserve it. Like when a movie gets a Scream Factory release, to me, I almost think of it as like it's the validation release. Like I remember when Return of the Living Dead 2 got a Scream Factory Blu-ray, I was like, goddamn right, like that validated my love for that film. Like, fuck those people that shit on this movie. It's got a Scream Factory release, so there's a goddamn fan base out there.
That's why the there's never been. I don't think I've ever heard of a Scream Factory potential set being released talked about as much as Nightmare. They're like, you did Michael, you did Jason. Where the hell's Freddy at? Like, because it is that validation. Once your franchise or your favorite movie or one of your favorite movies gets that, that hard shell, slick art with a bunch of new special features and a 4K scan release of it, you're like, we've made it. We have made it to the mountaintop. So, yeah, I was excited and surprised, quite frankly, as I unplugged my headphones. I was pleasantly surprised that Child's Play 3 got one, and I'm happy about that because I would love to. I'm looking forward to seeing a 4K scan of that.
Oh yeah, I'm almost like.
We both just had technical difficulties.
Yeah, I've got to get like some masking tape or something for my shit ass camera stand. I'm almost wondering if they were interested in doing Bride of Chucky, or there were, because I can understand not doing. No, I'm sorry, I can understand them not going as far as Seed, but I wonder what made 3 the cutoff and not Bride. Maybe here's the thing that I don't think a lot of us talk about.
Is it a rights thing?
Well, I mean, they're all universal except the first one.
True.
But here's the thing I don't think a lot of us talk about, and I don't think some of us really have a grasp on it. How expensive is it for Scream Factory to hire someone to digitally restore a 4K scan of something? It takes a while and it's very time consuming. And I remember watching the documentary on Universal doing just the Blu-ray for Jaws, and it was painstaking, long, and expensive. So I can only imagine how expensive it is to do this for these films. That's why they don't do 4K scans of every Friday the 13th in that box set. They did the first 4. So I think that's something we have to consider is it's not cheap it's not cheap to restore these movies as a natural 4K. I think it costs a lot of money, and I think they have to figure out. That's probably why they never did all the Halloweens the first go around. Licenses aside, dude, that probably would have cost a fortune.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you gotta imagine just it's thousands of dollars, and so you're pouring maybe even $10,000-$20,000 into this, and then you're making them limited too. A lot of these are limited runs, so there's only a certain number you're going to make. Maybe that's why the prices on them aren't always so cheap, because it's like, well, we got to make some money on this damn thing. Like, yeah, I would imagine it is a. I mean, that's why, guys, we can't rule out them being in the process of a Nightmare box set right now. And if they are, it would make sense that it would be taking this long because, what is that? 9 movies? I mean, there's a lot that goes into that.
And I mean, even and taking away that's a good point too, because even though the Friday the 13th were 4K scans for the first 4, they still did a lot of work on getting better. They made every other film better. Not only that, like they color timed to Tom McLaughlin's liking the way Part 6 is supposed to look, because for some reason Paramount shaded the blue a little bit. Like the real color time of that movie, Tom wanted it to almost have a black and white feel, especially the opening scene where Jason rises from his grave. It was supposed to mimic a Universal monster movie, and instead in the DVDs they made it real blue. And so he went in that, and they fixed all that movie up. So it's like, dude, it's a lot of shit. But
that reminds me of the which Blu-ray release of it was Halloween. I think it was the first Blu-ray release.
The Anchor Bay, where they took the blue out of the night.
Oh, Dean Cundy was pissed. He was pissed, and rightfully so. I remember him like talking about that in an interview, I believe, about how he was very displeased with that transfer, because he was like, we literally used the blue lighting to our advantage to make certain scenes pop and be creepier, and they just fucking took it out. Like, yeah, that's kind of bullshit. Yeah, I don't watch that edition.
Dude, was it the Halloween one where they gave us the DVD with the original color timing? I mean, the Blu-ray with the original color timing? Yeah, I think they did.
I think so. Yeah, verify that. I think so, though.
Disc 3, original color timing presentation.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Is it an Anchor Bay disc? Well, it says Compass International, so I guess not. But that's it. That's the Disc 3.
Man,
this is the only one I went to Best Buy and bought because they. I'll put that up later. God, I love those Halloween 4Ks, dude. I don't give a fuck. Call me a sucker. My Blu-rays weren't shipping from Amazon right away, and I remember yours came even later than mine.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, you still did your video, and I'm sure it still did well.
Oh, it did. I mean, I still got it within a week of them releasing, but the fact that I had to wait when I had pre-ordered them was bullshit.
See, what you need to do next time, though, because this worked wonders for me, and believe me, I had a blast doing it. I did a review for each fucking one, and it was so funny because if you watch the people that did watch my 4K reviews, I was like, this one looks the best. And then the next video, I was like, you know what? I said 3 looks the best. Looking back now, 4 and 5 are
cream of the crop.
Dude, they because they had the biggest jump.
Yeah, because we've gotten good believe it or not, man, that
The Steelbook of Halloween 3 is like was pretty fucking good.
And obviously the Steelbook of Halloween 2 as well, but I gotta say that Universal Blu-ray, the first one we got of Halloween 2, I thought was a pretty good transfer. Like,
it wasn't bad.
No, so we had some quality releases of those, but 4 and 5, no. I mean, the Divimax Anchor Bay Blu-rays, oh Jesus Christ! I mean, the audio syncing issue that you have on Halloween 4, and then Halloween 4 and 5, they just still look like made for TV movies, and I'm just like, no, these movies are better than that. And then the 4Ks come out, and I'm like, holy shit! I mean,
yeah, they look good.
It's it is night and day. So, but I mean, I guess I should ask you: did you pre-order the Child's Play ones yet? Are they up for pre-order?
Oh yeah, they're up for pre-order, and I was going to tell you, because I think maybe you'll probably go this way as well, knowing you. They had some good bundles, so I could pull it up, but like I kind of have it memorized.
I did look at the bundles. I looked at them. They had like the enamel pens and shit like that. Yeah,
yeah. That you could buy that figure, but it's already sold out, which I didn't need it. I have a fucking life size right there. I'm fine. So the only one I contemplated getting was the one that comes with the special artwork extra slip covers for 2 and 3. But they came with the posters and stuff, and I people were telling me, well, dude, if you buy the Blu-rays just by themselves, it comes out to the same price, so just get the bundle. And I was like, that's true, but I'm gonna get them on Amazon, and the price is gonna come down. Those Blu-rays, those 4Ks will at least come down to $29.99 on Amazon, and that's what I'm gonna pay. So I decided I definitely am gonna get the first 3. I don't need them 2 weeks early. I will survive, and I'm just going to pre-order. I'm going to get them. I'll probably order them like a week before they come out on Amazon, and just get them from there and just get those. So, I mean, I'm excited to have it, but I'm not getting any bundles. So that's what I'm doing. But dude, people are excited. The artwork for 2 and 3 that they did, Devin Whitehead, the Cavity Colors guy, is his name? I don't know if you know.
I don't know.
It's the guy. He's an artist for the Cavity Colors, that's a great T-shirt company.
Yeah, it is.
He did that special artwork for 2 and 3, and 3 is my favorite because you can see like the Grim Reaper thing in the back with that. What is that weapon that Michael uses too? The scythe.
The scythe, yep.
Dude, the artwork for 3 is fantastic. I love it. 2 is great too, but 3 was my favorite. So I'm happy for all the people that are going to get those. But I just decided, dude, I'm fine. I'm just gonna wait till Amazon drops them a little bit and just order them from there and enjoy the cinema. Because sometimes I wonder if some of us focus a little too much on slip covers and not cinema.
Yes.
That's just,
Well, when it comes to Halloween, I'll just buy every edition, regardless. So it's sad, man. I've gotten to the point where I go to FYE and stuff, and I'm like, I always have every edition. Every edition that I'm looking at, I have every single one.
I wish I could say that about Nightmare. I mean, I got what they put out, but I mean, fuck.
Yeah, you don't wish you could say that, Christian. I'm telling you, I'm looking at my shelves right now.
Well, you know what happens when they don't put shit out for Nightmare? You buy a fucking, you buy that.
Yeah. Oh, I saw the new Nightmare Snappa out in the wild the other day. I think I'm going to snag that bad boy up this week. I was like, man, I'm going to get to the point where I have all 7 original Nightmare movies in the Snapper case DVD just because. Like, why? Will I ever watch them? Probably not. I prefer better quality. But damn if they're not cool, because they're cool.
Yeah,
they're retro.
I have the nice DVD Nightmare box set, but there's a VHS box set that's pretty cool too.
Yes, yeah. I saw out in the wild the other day. It was the same place. It's a place called Game Swap, and it was fantastic. And they had the Puppet Master 1, 2, and 3 DVD set. And I was like, oh, that's so retro and cool. Like, I almost bought it. I'm sure it'll still be there when I go this week, so I might buy it.
Let me ask you this. Do you not own any Puppet Masters at all?
I don't own any of them.
Okay, well,
listen. I've watched them, it's been like on streaming.
Do me a favor. Make sure, because I'm telling you, please don't do this to yourself. Make sure it's the remastered editions. If it's not, it literally looks like Charles Band put a camera in front of a television, recorded the movies that way. If it's not, don't get it. I'm telling you.
I will literally send you a picture when I'm there later this week of the edition, and you tell me whether or not to pull the trigger.
Is it 3 cases in a set?
It was they were in like a box, and it had it had a name. The set had a name, but I can't remember what the name was.
Was it this? Did it look like this?
Yes. Show me the back. No, it did not have that back art. It was older than that.
Well, if it's cheap, get it. I can't tell you not to buy it.
It was DVD. I think it was like $6.99. And I'm like, I'm telling you, Christian, any of you out there, Christian and I have talked openly about how we want to one day get to the point where you guys would want to see us have a booth at a horror convention. And if that ever happens, which we hope happens, and we're going to keep putting out content to make that a reality, I would love to say we're at Horror Hound, and Christian's got to come up to Ohio for a few days.
I would love that.
I'm taking Christian to Game Swap because I'm telling you, this mofo is going to drop $100 because I have never seen so many used movies in my life. The place is insane. They had a cardboard life-size cutout of the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, that's dope.
They had an entire horror VHS section, just horror VHSs. I bought Scream because it was in fantastic condition. They had so many. They had Nightmare VHSs. They didn't have any Halloween, which was weird. They have an entire horror DVD section, entire horror Blu-ray section, a horror 4K section. I mean, it was thousands of movies. And I walked out with 6 movies and I spent $30.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So the prices are good too. I bought The Invisible Man was the most expensive one out of all of them. The Blu-ray of The Invisible Man was $7.99. So I'm telling you, like, and I'm one of those people. Obviously, you guys know we're physical media guys. So it's like if I'm out in the wild and I see a DVD, I might buy it simply because it's retro or it's cool or like, I'm like, it's a DVD. I might not ever watch this version of it, but I want to own it because it's cool and it's cheap. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that place. I mean, this place is killer. I mean, it's insane. I think I'm going to do a video there this week.
That'd be pimp.
The problem is the title would be weird because like it's very specific. I think it's the only one in the state of Ohio. So like anyone that doesn't know that place, like, what the fuck is that Game Swap? So I'll make it just some like generic
most
title.
amazing videos, DVD. Dude, horror
this place
section, whatever.
Shits on FYE. It shits on it. And I had my kid and I was holding him because he just kept running around. And he keeps going like spooky. I'm like, what's spooky? What are you talking about? And then I turn, he's looking at the Crypt Keeper cutout. And he's like, spooky. I'm like, all right, well, let's go up to it. And I'm holding him. I take him up to it. He's like, I'm like, dude, it's not real. But it was so cool. It wasn't for sale, although I'm sure I could have bought it off this guy.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. I'm going to do a video. I'm really, really excited for that. But so we got the 4Ks. We also had something else drop this week. And Christian, I got to let you know. I'm sure you know. I'm sure you've seen some tweets about it. Maybe you have. Maybe you haven't. Stranger Things 4 Volume 1 smashes Netflix's record for most hours watched by almost 100 million more hours than the previous record holder in its first week of release or first weekend of release. Wow. It was like 287 million hours watched. So Stranger Things has been gone for 3 years. People thought maybe the hype has kind of died down for Stranger Things. It's still cool. It's still got a fan base, but is it really the phenomenon it once was? The answer is yes. Yeah. A resounding yes. Dude, I'm going to ask you first. I mean, you've told me about it over text and whatnot, but what'd you think?
This was the first and only season that I actually told Sydney, let's keep going. I couldn't stop. I loved it. Full disclosure, I enjoyed the first season. I've uh, I forced myself to watch the second season. Can't tell you why I didn't like it. I felt like there's too much going on. I wasn't into the third season. I thought was an improvement. I thought it was better. I like the aesthetic of the third season a lot. I thought they really got some cool 80s stuff going on in that season.
That whole Starcourt Mall is awesome. I
Right,
love
right.
the mall.
But this season, I mean, I think I can speak for the Nightmare on Elm Street fans when I say, like, we finally got something that we can rally around now, even though it's not Freddy. Like, that was the most Nightmare on Elm Street thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I loved it. I
And
loved everything about it.
There's a tweet I sent Christian. We'll talk about it here in a little bit. But yeah, overall for me, it's the same way, dude. I mean, and I've loved every season. Although season 2 is the weakest season, I think, just objectively, which is crazy because it had the best trailer with Thriller in it. Oh, I loved that trailer. It's one of my favorite trailers of all time. And looking back on them as a whole, I'm like, yeah, season 2 is weaker, but this is the best season. I mean, this is the best season, and the budget for each episode was $30 million for season 4, each episode. I mean, and I got to tell you, and I want to know if you agree with this, not just because of length, every episode felt like a movie. And there wasn't an episode shorter than an hour and 15 minutes, I think. And every episode looked like a movie, played like a movie. I mean, shit. I had to watch it over multiple nights because those episodes were long. And actually, I was up till like 2:30 last night so I could finish it and yes, I am dragging ass today because of it. But I knew, we were going to be talking about it. Dude, it's so good. I mean, it's so good. Were you like me, though, where you're expecting episode 7 to have kind of like this nice, not a bow on it, because there's 2 more episodes coming, but like you kind of thought that there might be like some finality a little bit, and then, okay, in a month, we're going to get the end of it. Dude, episode 7 pissed me off just because of how much it set up and was like, you got to wait a month. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, especially with the reveal of that guy, the monster, what's his name?
Vecna.
Vecna. When you find out who Vecna is, it was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, and it's crazy, too, because so many times in movies and TV shows, they find themselves retconning shit, or they find themselves like, if a show will go on multiple seasons, you'll find yourself like kind of straying away and changing up the lore a little bit too much. And people are like, what the hell? The fact that 11 started all of this is just like, that was kind of a mind fuck. I was like, what? Like, she opened the doorway from what she did to 1. But yeah, I didn't know he was going to be Vecna. Like, I didn't see that coming. I did not think that was a thing at all. I don't know, man. I mean, how do you, so I texted you after our introduction to Vecna, just in episode 1 at the end. And you tell me, didn't you think immediately, didn't your mind go to Nancy Thompson's house?
Like, 100%.
Yeah. It was a dream world, essentially. I think it even kind of looked a little bit like her house on the inside. And he comes around the corner with those long ass fingernails and shit. And you're just thinking Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street.
The whole aesthetic was unequivocally Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, I was over the moon about it, and it was done so well. And it proves to me that this could be like that a Nightmare movie could work today because, dude, just look at what that did. It was done so well. It was basically a Nightmare on Elm Street movie done so well and exploring this outer world. Like, there's no limits. That's the thing about Nightmare on Elm Street. There's zero limits. There's no limits to what you can do. And just imagine Freddy operating with a world like Vecna had, dude. It's almost bittersweet. It almost hurts.
I guess this is the perfect segue to just ask the question. The tweet that I sent you, that someone said the Duffer Brothers, I don't like, they need to do the next Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Like,
Oh, of course. I guarantee you, with Robert Englund on set, there was a conversation.
that's another thing too, man. Robert was there. He's probably watched this shit back and been like, man, you guys know what you're doing. Like,
Dude, and not only that, I mean, besides Vecna, the character, Robert stole the show. I thought he was so fucking good as Victor Creel. He's a character actor, dude. He knows, he's a performer.
Yeah. And you knew he was innocent. I mean, you knew he was innocent. Like, I don't think there was ever a question for me that he was innocent. My question was, what actually happened? Now, did you see the teaser? It's like a 15-second teaser for the last 2 episodes. It got removed offline.
I want to say that I did.
Okay. In the teaser, you get to see this big smoky figure. And if you remember in episode 7, what's his nuts? Dusty Bun.
Yeah,
Dusty Buns. He mentions how Vecna is essentially just a soldier for the Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer has been the villain this entire time. That big shadowy motherfucker from season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, as much as we love Vecna, like as badass as he is, he's not even the big bad. He's like controlled by the Mind Flayer, which just blows my freaking mind.
It's like, how are they going to top that in next month? I mean, I have a feeling that it may be even excuse me. I don't want it to be. I almost wonder if it's going to be too grandiose with what they do with part 2, man, because I thought that Vecna was literally like the perfect villain. And if he's like not like the top boss, I mean, what the fuck is that?
No, he will be. I think he will be. But you're going to also see how the Mind Flayer is controlling him and basically like how he's pulling the strings behind all of this. But shit, man, I agree. I mean, the dude, it's a great performance. It's great prosthetics. The actor even said, he's like, most of that is prosthetics. Like, that took hours to put on. That's like Freddy Krueger times 10. Like, that shit was insane. And dude, was it just me, or were there moments when you're watching the show where you're thinking to yourself, like, this is TVMA, right? And you're like, it's only TV 14? What? Like, with Vecna's kills, that shit's brutal.
Yeah, I certainly didn't feel like I was watching I certainly didn't feel like I was watching anything PG-13 related, because it was just good, you know. But then again, PG-13 today, it's like, I mean, what the hell? I mean, what's the difference, quite frankly? Because everything can be seen on screen for people nowadays. But what I thought was done so well was the suspense of the character of Vecna. I can tell you my favorite shot right off the bat. One of the kids falls down into some kind of hole.
Oh yeah.
He looks to his right, and you see a tunnel, and then another tunnel, and then like all of a sudden you see the silhouette of the character walking towards him. It's like, dude, if that was Freddy, I'm telling you, it's bittersweet for me, because I loved it so much, but it's just like, this is the best Nightmare on Elm Street movie I've ever seen. That's the way I felt watching this. But I loved it, man. I loved what I loved about it was, like, dude, there wasn't too much shit going on. That was my problem with the couple. I think probably season 2. It was just, I felt like I couldn't keep up with everything. And I love that there's basically 2 storylines here. You got Vecna with the kids, and you got some of the kids fighting with the other ones. One's like, talk to us, stop hiding your emotions, blah blah blah. But everything revolves around Vecna. And then you've got Winona Ryder's boy in Russia, trying to escape prison. So it's like there's 2 things going on and I like that it seemed a lot more simplified, and I could keep up with everything, and I cared about everything. Everything
And
was
both
interesting.
plots were cool. And
Yeah.
and like I didn't think either one was boring. Like um also gotta give credit to these guys because this is one of those shows where they can introduce new characters and they're fucking awesome. Like I loved Eddie Munson and I loved Argyle. He was hilarious. Like two new characters that didn't feel like they were forced in at all. And I don't know. It's just the way they do this. I remember in season 2 when they brought on Max, the redheaded girl, and I'm like, but do we need this? And like, I was never really sold on this until this season. And then I was like, okay, yeah, she was really well written and she brought it this season, man. She did.
Oh, dude, everybody was so good.
I've been
I
listening to that Running Up That Hill Kate Bush song like every day.
yeah. But the thing I loved about Robert so much in here was that they basically echoed the scene from Silence of the Lambs, like
Mm-hmm.
they were going to meet Lecter. And yeah, I was just over the moon seeing Robert in this because I had no idea. I'm sure it wasn't a secret, but I just never paid attention. Like I really, quite frankly, I was gonna watch Stranger Things season 4, but I think I even tweeted before it came out. Like, yes, I'm excited to see it, but like honestly, this better be the best thing I've ever seen because it's been years, and all they kept doing is saying like, just wait, it's coming, just wait, it's coming. And I'm like, this better be fucking amazing. Good's not even good enough. Amazing is like the standard, and I'll be damned. I mean, they met my expectations,
Yeah.
but I just loved everything about. I really have not even a half of a complaint. I really don't. I'm trying to think. I even liked 11. I mean, I hated her in season 1. I liked the little black kid in season 1 because he was like, "Why are you guys listening to this mute girl? She won't talk. Let's just get the hell out of here." And I'm like, "Thank you." Like I didn't like 11 as when she was younger, but I loved 11 in season 4 and 3, quite frankly. I like 3 and 4. I thought those seasons 3, like they got him on trap. Like that's even the crazier thing. Maybe one day I'll look back on season 2 and see it as Freddy's Revenge. I doubt it, but like season 3 felt like Dream Warriors, and season 4 felt like Dream Master, the equivalent of like it's even bigger, it's even better. The tonally totally different, but like dude, 3 and 4 are juggernaut seasons, and it's just crazy. It's just
Yeah.
crazy.
It's rare that you see a show getting better like this as it goes on. And then it makes you wonder, not wonder, but at least for me, it makes me like bummed out that I know it's coming to an end. Season 5 is going to be the last season. And that sucks.
Okay, so it's season 4 point. We just saw part 1, and they're doing season 4 part 2, and then in like 4 years we're gonna get season 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how many years. I would assume one of the reasons this one took so long is because of the COVID delays. So it's not going to take 3 years for season 5, but if it is like they say that it is the final season, I'm expecting it to just be ramped up to like even bigger than this. Like, because it's going to be the final showdown of everything. Like you're probably just going to see the fucking upside down just like start eating the earth. Like I have no idea, but it's going to be insane. Yeah, man, I agree. I don't really have a complaint. And it is a bummer when I think about volume 2 is only 2 episodes. I'm like, oh, what? You're making me wait a month for 2 episodes? And then I'm going, well, episode 8 is an hour and a half, and episode 9 is 2.5 hours. So it's 4 more
Jesus
hours of content.
Christ.
Yeah.
Oh man, and I like what are they called? Demigorgons.
Yeah, the Demogorgon.
I like it's almost like a Velociraptor style Demogorgon that was running around and fighting. That guy. I call him the dad. I forget his character's name. Hopper and stuff. Like that was creepy shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool character. I like that Demigorgon a lot.
Yeah, the whole Russia stuff, I found myself getting mad so many times because I'm like, in the sense of not that it was bad, but in the sense of Jesus Christ, is everybody just in this to fuck each other over? Like,
right, because of the guy that hooked up with
I sold you out. I sold you out. It's like, you guys suck. Like, I just want him to, I don't know, come back and like get out of Russia.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I'm excited to see the next 2 episodes, though. Then,
Yeah.
yeah. I hope we're not done with Robert. I'd like to see more Robert, but
I would think that we're not, because what the revelations that we found out in the last episode. Correct me if I'm wrong. What exactly? Okay, so was it that Vecna essentially infected the son, and like that's what happened, right?
more or less, I think. And
Okay.
but Robert wasn't a. I don't know if Robert wasn't aware till. Was Robert ever? I call him Robert Victor
I don't
Creel.
think he was. I think it was more because his son like then passed out,
Right,
and I
and
think
he
he
got the
thought
blame for all
everyone
the
was dead.
murders and
Yeah.
shit. Yeah. There's a lot of shit, dude. It's like hard to remember all it because so much shit happened. But
Oh, it was that whole final episode was crazy. Like it was just
fucking nuts, dude.
so
But
much shit was happening at the end there. I'm like, what is
You know,
going on?
Vecna,
And then
you know what Vecna reminds me of? A mixture between 3 things. Some sort of Cenobite, and the Swamp Thing. Have you ever seen the Swamp Thing?
yeah.
They have the same face.
Mm-hmm.
The Wes Craven movie.
Yeah.
That's the same. They have the same face. You go look up the Swamp Thing.
No,
they got the
I can see it.
And I think Derek Mears played Swamp Thing a couple years ago.
He did.
They have the same face. I just think that's funny.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I mean, this is like you don't see this a lot. Like you really don't see this a lot in our lifetimes, at least. Like how many times can you look back and be like, "Wow, this show was like a phenomenon." Like I think of that J.J. Abrams show, Lost. I never watched Lost, but that was a huge deal.
Dude, there's talented people out there. If studios would just let them fucking write their shit and then film it, like you'd be surprised. For God's sakes,
Yeah.
everything's so fucking processed now. It's like, dude, sometimes this shit just has to slip through the cracks, and that's really the only way it happens. You know?
Yeah.
Who knows if Stranger Things was supposed to be like this hit? I think it probably just kind of caught on, and people were like, "Oh shit, they like this."
Yeah, it just came out at the right time. I don't know what it was. It was like right when I see everybody says, you know, when you get these comparisons all the time, when you get movies that play into the 80s and a group of kids, people are like, oh, they did the Stranger Things thing. But like Stranger Things didn't coin that thing, but it really was the Kickstarter into like really just shooting that into the mainstream, I think. Like where you were seeing it everywhere. Like
Summer of '84 doesn't happen without Stranger Things.
Yeah. I would argue that maybe 2017 doesn't happen as early as it does without Stranger. It would have eventually been remade, but boy, after Stranger Things, a lot of those kid-led properties were fast-tracked.
Yeah, they used some of those kids for that movie too. They used one of them at least for that movie, right?
Yeah, Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah.
Plays Mike.
That's right.
I got a bone to pick about one thing. Did you have a problem with 11 busting up that chick's nose?
No.
Me neither. And I saw some discourse online about that. People were like, the bullying in Stranger Things is just so unbelievable, and the reactions to the bullying are even more unbelievable. And why would she go? Why would that be her reaction? And blah blah blah. And I'm just like, man, y'all need to go touch grass, dude. Like, what? You really caring that much?
It's a movie.
Yeah. Like, did you think this was a documentary? Did you think they had like cameras and they were following her around like a real like roller rink in the 80s? Oh, she really got bullied. This really happened.
Do you watch Star Wars and say to yourself, this isn't believable? What the fuck?
Hey, that's another topic. That Obi-Wan Kenobi show is kicking ass.
Scout's boyfriend must be like a stunt coordinator or something on that show, or a stunt guy, because Scout, all she does is post about it and say congratulations to my guy and tags him. He has to be some kind of stunt guy or some kind of behind the scenes movie guy, because he's involved in that show one way or the other.
You know, Christian, I just don't like to think about the fact that Scout has a boyfriend.
I
I don't
mean,
know. It's just depressing.
Danielle Harris turned 45 today,
Yeah,
and she looks fucking amazing.
she does. Yeah. I can't wait for Halloween 5.5. Danielle Harris's return. It's coming. No, it'll never happen. But yeah, no, she looks great. I mean, a lot of these leading ladies in horror, it just seems like they get older and they're just still hot.
People
Or
like dude,
maybe
people know how to
maybe we're
age
so
nowadays. Like the world's changing, dude. People know how to age nowadays. People know how to it just seems like the world is moving with us instead of past us. Like I don't feel like I'm out of touch or I'm out or I'm, I don't feel like I'm out of date. I feel like the world is moving with me as opposed to past me. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not on TikTok that much, but
no, I wouldn't say you're wrong. I'm not on TikTok either. But no. Yeah, I'd say that's a fair assessment. It's it's just interesting. I don't know. It's we could do a whole get off my lawn type thing, because I just feel like we're just getting old and pretty soon we're going to be those old farts that we were complaining about.
well, I talked about this. I forgot where I talked about this, but when I went to Texas Frightmare, they had the Scream people there, and their lines were longer than literally everybody else's. And it dawned on me, Scream is the new Halloween.
Yep.
I mean, it's not even a question in my mind. Like Scream is the biggest horror movie in the world now. I feel like that franchise is so popular. It's insane. I mean, Nev Campbell. I bet she still has like a sore arm from signing autographs from that event because she literally never has stopped. I guarantee you. I mean, it was just insanity.
Scream is the new Halloween. Saw is the new Friday the 13th, just in the sense that it's the most insane. Stranger Things is the new Nightmare on Elm Street.
I guess so. Strange Things season 4 was good, man. But going back to something you mentioned earlier, do I think that those brothers should make a Nightmare film? Yeah, 100%. But I'm sorry. I know I go back and forth on this like a seesaw. I don't give a fuck, dude. Robert is a character. He can
Oh, here
act
we
his
go.
ass
Yeah.
off, dude. Let him do it again. I don't care if he's not skinny. I could give a fuck about that,
Being a
dude.
nightmare guy, do you find yourself thinking the same way I do? Every time I see Robert, I just can't not see Freddy Krueger anymore.
Dude, you give him something good to work with. Dude, he's a fucking dude.
He's great. But I just mean, like, even when he talks, I'm just like, Freddy.
He exudes it. I mean, it's almost the opposite. It's not even like, it's not that Robert is Freddy. It's that Freddy is Robert at this point. Like
Yeah.
we can do more nightmares down the road with somebody else, but Robert's still so good. I mean, he was so good in Stranger Things. I said to myself, dude, he's got to do it again. He's got to do it.
The success of this season and all the comparisons that are going viral online about A Nightmare on Elm Street, they're gonna get talks going. It's gonna happen. And the fact that Robert was involved, like, somebody's gonna start talking about it. I don't know who, but somebody that matters. Maybe it's Robert, maybe it's the Craven estate, maybe it's the Duffer brothers going to the Craven estate and saying, hey, we want a shot at this. It's gonna start getting talked about.
I'm bummed out a little bit because some of the ideas that were used in this, I'm like, fuck, putting the earphones on them and playing their favorite song. Like, fuck, that could have been used in an Elm Street movie. God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was brilliant. Episode
4 was fantastic. Dear Billy episode. That episode was fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that shit was great. Dude, I kind of want to rewatch it. Like, I'm kind of like, dude, I need to immerse myself in that shit.
I do too, but I ain't got the fucking time to
no,
rewatch
dude.
it again.
That's like 10 hours.
You know, I don't know, dude. It's the whole thing has been so bittersweet to me because I kept thinking, like, I'm just repeating myself. I'm just like, that was literally one of the best Nightmare on Elm Street movies I've ever seen, and it's a shame that it actually just wasn't a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. But I'm hardline on it. Robert's still too talented. He's not an old, decrepit man. He's old, but he's not a has-been. I mean, he's still, I mean, he can, dude, he's such a talent. He's such a good actor. You can tell he figured out who Victor Creel was. And it's like, you don't think, even though you say to yourself, you freak out for a moment, like, oh my God, it's Robert Englund, it's Freddy. In a few minutes, you're like, he's Victor Creel, and like he is this character, and he's just so good. And I actually think an old man Freddy could leverage to be even creepier now. Shot the way that those Stranger Things movies are shot too. You got to give this shit to talented people. You have to. Those brothers can do it as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it was, I don't know. I want to be happy, but I'm just so sad at the same time because I feel like, again, I don't want to repeat. I'm just repeating myself over and over again, but like, God, dude, I can't help it. I just can't help it.
Wondering what could have been.
I am.
But hey, what could be? It doesn't mean it won't happen.
I mean, I was just happy to see though that like that I went online and I follow a lot of Freddy fanatics online on Twitter and stuff, and it was unanimous. Everybody was like, this, like, we have something that we can get excited about, even though it's not Nightmare on Elm Street. We can still get excited about it because I mean, it was just like, dude, this was so fucking Elm Street. It wasn't even funny.
Yeah,
and it's clear that those brothers, I didn't know it was brothers that directed. I had no idea who directed it, but it's clear that
they created it. So they write it, they oversee the whole thing.
Good,
but
yeah.
The director is Sean Levy.
Okay, well, cool. But like, you can tell Robert was in the show not because he auditioned for a part and they gave, no. He was brought in special, and he's like, dude, we fucking love you. You're a legend. But like I said, I pray to God there was some kind of conversation had where they were like, you know, look, dude, we got to do one with you. We have to. And I'm sure Robert, I'm sure, I don't know what's going on in Robert's mind. Maybe Robert is like, look, let's just do this. Like, I want to move on and do different things. That could be. I don't know. I just know that he still got it. I had doubts. I really did. He still fucking got it. Because the thing is, Robert has done a lot of like low budget stuff in the 2000s and stuff, and some good stuff, but he did a lot of Anchor. Odds are, if you have an Anchor Bay DVD from the mid 2000s, Robert's on it. But he's a fucking legend. And it's like, I don't know, dude. I'm so convinced that you have to do another one with him. No question.
Like I said, I think this will get conversation started by somebody. So, yeah, overall, Christian and I give Stranger Things 4, Volume 1, 2 thumbs way up.
Yeah.
Yep.
God, dude, it's just, I don't know.
Me neither.
It's so bittersweet.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my fucking day. I swear to God, dude, I'm telling you, I'm going to get a box set. I'm going to get the announcement of a new movie with Robert. I don't give a fuck, dude. It's going to happen. Fuck Friday the 13th. Fuck Halloween. No, I'm just kidding. No, I want all of it. But you know what? It's kind of bullshit because I hear a lot of people say, and maybe, quite frankly, I don't care that this could be true or not. I don't think it's true, but like, well, Nightmare is kind of like a little bit of a backseat to the Friday and Halloween. I don't think there's a big of a fan base for that kind of thing, and they might do Elm Street, but like, honestly, they may not. Like, you know what? Yes, I do see more Friday the 13th fans and Elm Street fans on a weekly basis. Maybe there probably are more Friday fans, but are we gonna act like Nightmare on Elm Street isn't fucking pop culture? Like, of course, if they did another one, it would do big money. I'm pretty sure the remake made a shit ton of money. I don't know what it was. I'm sure it was a ton of money.
It was over 100 million.
I was gonna say, I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's the thing is like sometimes we get into a pissing contest about the popularity of one or the other, and it's like we do realize that these are the big three, right? Like these are the big three. It doesn't matter which one you're talking about, they're all three freaking huge.
Yeah.
Like you're going to make money if it looks even halfway decent. People are going to go see it. I promise. Like just how it goes. But yeah.
Well, yeah, dude. 117 million. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Christian will get his day.
Yeah.
I think it's coming sooner rather than later, too.
I hope so, dude. Like, the thing is, so here's something I wanted to bring up, and I'm very excited about this. So, Paramount themselves are putting out the original Friday the 13th on 4K, which is great news. I can't wait to get the first film on 4K. I'm more excited about that than Child's Play, quite frankly. And I almost wonder, somebody was asking me this, like, Christian, if we don't get a box set of Nightmare on Elm Street and they just start putting them out on 4K, would you be upset? I'd be like, fuck no. Like, my biggest thing is, yes, I want new bonus features. I want part 5 uncut and all that shit. But at the end of the day, I really want to see these films in the best picture quality you could possibly do, because they just deserve it so much. Like, you gotta think, like, yes, like, of course it's nice having Halloweens on 4K and stuff, but like, let's just call it what it is, dude. The Nightmare films are so special effects oriented and so over the top with their effects. Like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? You got to see that shit in the highest picture quality possible. Like, can you imagine seeing Dream Warriors in 4K? I mean, it's no
No, I can't.
It's no comparison. What are we talking about here? Halloween 4 or Friday the 13th Part 2? Yes, of course we want to see this in 4K, and we can, but like, dude, we're talking about fucking Dream Warriors and all that crazy shit. It's like, what are we doing here? It's almost laughable. I'm just saying.
No, it is. I mean, it's a huge missed opportunity. Like, if they're not going to do it, we don't know that that's not going to happen or is going to happen. We don't know, but if you don't, like, what are you doing? I mean, what are you even doing with your life?
I don't know, dude. Well.
Yeah.
But Stranger Things 4 is fucking awesome. I loved it. It made me a big fan again. And
yep.
Child's Play 4K's come out in August. I guess that's about it, dude. You got anything else?
No, man. I feel like that's those are the hot button issues right now. I think we covered them. We didn't go 2 hours, guys. A little bit of a brisker episode, which is good because I'm very tired. So,
yeah,
yeah, I don't want to speculate what we're going to do next week, guys. Like I said, we've been talking about some stuff and been trying to set some stuff up. So who knows? But we can tell you that the Leatherface ranking it may be next week. It's going to be very soon.
Strong possibility.
Yeah. So and we'll have Brandon back on from Tabata Vision for that. So that'll be cool. And I got to do that list. That's gonna be a hard list.
Yeah, I got to see too because I know part 1's going to be 2 looks for sure. Pretty Woman and then like the golden
Yeah.
face, Leatherface. Part 2, I gotta map it all out and get it situated. But those are fun. I love those tier ranking videos. They're just so fucking fun.
Yeah, and those are the ones that usually go like 2 hours because we just bullshit and give each other a hard time and argue, and it's great.
Yeah. But
yeah, that's what's on the docket soon, guys. Yeah, I don't know when this episode's going to drop, but whenever you're listening to it,
happy day,
happy day,
whatever it is.
Yep.
So,
you got anything else, Christian?
No, I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna go do the dishes. Sydney's probably already in bed. I don't have work tomorrow. I'm gonna do the dishes, read more of my Tom Savini book, knock that out so I can start. I'm so excited to read those Halloween books, man. I can't wait because I hope they talk about Tommy because I've always wanted to hear Tommy Lee Wallace talk about like what he wanted to do for Halloween 2. I think he kind of has, but like I hope they go into more of that.
Yeah.
Dude, you got to think about how ballsy that is for him to be like, fuck, this sucks. I ain't doing it. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
He was a fucking nobody.
Yep.
And he's like, fuck this shit, dude. I'm out.
Yeah, well.
I mean, he said that.
It didn't do many favors for Rick Rosenthal. So.
Did you know he did a movie called The Birds 2, and it was so shitty that he took his name. Like, there's an acronym. I say acronym. That's not the right word for it. There's a director name called Alan Smithy that is used when directors don't want
to
pseudonym. So I think Alan Smithy directed The Birds 2 Land's End, and Alan Smithy also directed Hellraiser 4, which was actually directed by Kevin Yeager. But you know, it'd be so funny. Like I want to book on the podcast. All right, guys, we've got Alan Smithy coming up on the show, and people can speculate which Alan Smithy is going to. Because, dude, there's a number of directors that took the name Alan Smithy, because they fucking hated their movie
for good reason. Because some of them are abject trash.
Dude, I gotta watch. I've seen The Birds 2 Land's End. Honestly, I don't think it's. I mean, it's like from the early '90s. There's some funny shit in it. It actually feels more like a Jaws movie, I think, because I think it takes place by the water. But you know, I don't know. Birds 2 Land's End review coming soon.
Yep, watch along.
Speaking of watch along, Jason Takes Manhattan. I was really fucking mad. We'll end it on this because we do have to wrap it up. But like, honestly, you got all of you guys, especially my patrons. I love y'all, but what the fuck? I mean, I want to do a Dream Child commentary. I can educate on this film, guys. I can honestly like enlighten you. But instead, you want to watch Jason Takes fucking Vancouver instead, which is fine, I guess. But not even one vote for Dream Child. I mean, not one fucking vote for Dream Child. I was pissed off.
Primitive. I mean, bunch of primitives. And I don't know. Christian, you know, guys, he's just busting your balls because he loves Jason Takes Manhattan.
I mean, it's Baby Freddy. Why don't you watch Baby Freddy?
Yeah, he wants to watch some Baby Freddy.
Oh well, but no, we're gonna do Jason Takes Manhattan. I promise. That could be next week too. It just depends if Brandon's busy or if one of my guests that I'm reaching out manages to hit me up. We'll see. You know, but I promise this guest you won't bitch or complain about. I guarantee it. You'll love. Yeah. You love this guy. So, all right, guys, we love y'all. Thank you for listening to another week of the Uneeda Horror Podcast, and we'll see you guys very, very soon. This has been a production of the Uneeda Horror Podcast. You need it, we got it. Thank you for listening.